safe would you feel in a country if all of a sudden your guides was gone? And you pulled out your ticket to give someone a ticket, and the person says, infractions, not a charge. What are you trying to do? You trying to mug me? Who are you? Who are you working with? The Rothschilds who's stealing our country, sent us all to wars. Who the hell are you? And you think what position they're in. And that's the position they're in, because the cat's out of the bag.
What year was this sheriff left Santa Cruz? Do you know?
Mark Tracy. I can probably figure it out pretty close to when I came in front of him for parole. They threw me in jail for a 6-month sentence for driving 27 miles per hour down my own private road when just before they tried to murder me in front of my kids.
So this was
That was, let me see, that was in it was the end of 2005, 2006, because it's quite a blur when you get 7 cases filed against you, you get your kids kidnapped from you. He must have ran away from Santa Cruz County, was either in 2006 or 2007. Santa Cruz County was either in 2006 or 2007.
So he just packed up? Did he even bother to sell his house? He just packed up and left?
He packed up and left, went to his nice ranch he has in Montana. Of course, these people are making a lot of money. The judge...
What was this sheriff's name?
Mark Tracy.
Who finished his term of sheriff?
He appointed the next sheriff.
Oh, he appointed a senior deputy to take over while he left.
He appointed, completely unlawful. That's what he did. Now, the judge who sent me to jail for 6 months was a former district attorney and the artful dodger Art Danner, also a serious criminal. He was caught while as a DA in all these different crimes, stealing money. He had a mistress who was a cocaine addict who kept on checking in and paying her a salary while she never did any work. And he's caught with all these crimes. This is district attorney who threw me in jail.
Is he still the DA? Is he still the DA?
Now then he quickly resigned when he was a DA.
And that was what was his name?
Art Danner. Now, in fact, one of our lawyers implemented the quo warranto process, a private attorney general process, against him. So he quickly resigned. So he gets appointed as a judge. Now, the Judicial Nominations Committee rate him as not qualified. And of 678 nominees by Governor Wilson, it apparently cost you about $850,000 to be nominated as a judge under the table.
Governor Wilson?
Yeah, it was Governor Wilson.
That's a long time ago.
It was a while ago. He was appointed judge. Yeah. I'm talking about the district attorney became the judge. I'm talking about the crime, the element of these officials.
How they promote the criminals.
They look for criminals. And of 678 nominees by Governor Wilson, only 2 were rated by the Judicial Nominations Committee as not qualified. And the Judicial Nominations Committee would qualify your dog to be a judge. Doesn't make any difference. He gets put in as a judge. I get put in front of him as a trial. He excludes any evidence I have proving, and I have extensive evidence proving that I'm innocent. He won't allow me to testify as to the facts to the case. He strikes my testimony from the record, orders a jury out of the room in the instance, tells me I'm not allowed to say that with respect to the sheriffs, how they assaulted me, brings the jury back in, tells him to disregard everything I said, and he's already rigged the jury now with all the people who work for her, anyone in their family or they work for the state. He goes and allows the sheriffs to submit hearsay, double hearsay, and known lies. And he leans towards a jury when they submit the lies and the double hearsay, and he says, this is for information purposes only. This is the type of filthy criminal we have in our government. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals. Like our president, one of the biggest mass murderers in history. He has been responsible for pumping 2,000 tons of nuclear waste into the Gulf region. Now that uranium, which comes from these depleted power plant rods, you remember when you had 3 Mile Island, when that uranium gets out into the air? When it's depleted, it's about 60% as dangerous or as active as enriched uranium. It pumps out 20,000 pulses a second. So when your skin gets hit by these pulses, it just goes into pus, into a boil. And you see these pictures of these guys who've been affected by uranium. Their heads just sort of blow off on the top. These babies get born with one eye, no arms. The half-life of that uranium waste is 4.5 billion years. The actions that George Bush and the United States, which has your name on it, has taken, has caused the world's largest ecological disaster ever, which will continue killing people for billions of years in the most heinous fashion possible. If you're paying taxes, you're funding it. And you, according to their own law, if you fund terrorism, are a terrorist. And that's very serious, because we're going to start seeing other nations arresting American tourists and say, did you pay the IRS taxes? And if you say yes, you're going to see these foreign nations carting you off to jail because you funded terrorism, some of the most disastrous terrorism ever. This is also quite astonishing in regard to that Gulf War. If you go to our Liberty for Life site, we will link you up to official Department of Veterans Affairs report regarding our veterans. Now, the government and the Rothschild media, the mainstream media, is trying to tell us that 4,000 troops are dead. However, you actually go to the official source, the Department of Veterans Affairs, download their August 2007 Department of Veterans Affairs Gulf War Veterans Information System report. And that report will show you that 6.8 million United States troops have partook in the Gulf War since 1990. And then a few lines down, it'll give you another very important number. It'll tell you the number of estimated living veterans today as of August 2007. And that number is a shocking 4.5 million. Do the math. 6.8 minus 4.5, 2.3 million United States troops are dead from the Gulf War. That includes natural causes. However, someone who is in active duty in 1990 is not dead from old age by the year 2007. 2.3 million United States troops are dead. Americans don't want to know that number, but that's the facts. And further down in that report, you'll also find out that 1.2 million of our troops who partook in that Gulf War are already classified as disabled. Add the dead and disabled, 3.5 million dead and disabled United States troops. Why? Because we're using weapons of mass destruction. The most heinous war ever has been partook and created by George Bush, Cheney, and this criminal enterprise who are directly associated with Hitler, Stalin, and all the other criminal enterprises over the period, funded by the Rothschilds and their bank, using the Hegelian dialectic process to create wars. And this is what's going on. If you, an American, can stand up and kick someone out of government who's a filthy criminal like that, then you deserve to be locked up for funding terrorism. We got to get active. I mean, if you fear these people from your own safety, understand what they're doing to their own. The United States troops, 3.5 million of them are dead and disabled. They're their henchmen. That's how they treat their own. They're going to be doing the same thing to you. It's a matter of sooner or later. Let's get these criminals out of government and prosecute them for the crimes that they've committed. Now, CopperCards is actually putting together the lawful process of how to form a common law court. A common law court is run by the people for the people. On the construct, the preamble of the great United States Constitution, which starts with "we the people," you form your court. You do your quo warranto process, where you, each one of you, and everyone who's a real part of interest, can go and challenge any criminal in our government with a quo warranto process. Form a jury, which is a lawful jury. You don't have any judicial involvement in it because the judges are part and parcel of the crime. The 11th Amendment precludes them from any judicial power in the first place.